It's that time of year again, back to school. Returning to school can be a big adjustment for both parents and students, especially after the summer months. So how can you be sure that your kids are starting off the school year in a healthy way? Let's find out today on Around Phelps Health. Welcome everybody, I'm your host Paul Hackbarth, and we have two special guests here today, Angie Watkins and Andrea Crossley. They're both pediatric nurse practitioners here at Phelps Health. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, thank you for having us here today. We're excited to be here.
Awesome. Well, before we get into the topic, I have to ask you, are you guys ready for back to school?
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. So it's definitely a busy time of year. So, well, as we said, today we're discussing back to school wellness and things parents can do to keep their kids healthy this school year. I want to start off by asking about immunizations. Why do students need vaccines, and what are some recommended vaccines for kids? Angie, you want to take this one?
Sure. Vaccines are very, very important for all children because it helps protect disease spread and from them getting them. So we also recommend flu shots every year, MMR for children, all kinds of them at all different schedules.
Okay, and if someone's kid has missed a vaccine, can they catch up and get back on schedule then?
Oh yes, absolutely. We can do delayed vaccine scheduling. Okay. We could do scheduling as the CDC recommends, completely up to the parent, and we're here to inform parents of just that.
Awesome, that's great. Well, another way to make sure kids stay healthy, especially if they're doing sports or other activities, is through physicals. So why should kids get sports physicals? Andrea, do you want to answer this one?
Sports physicals can help identify any health concerns that the parents or the kiddo might have. We don't have to do sports physicals just at the time of the sports season, but it addresses any and all concerns, mental health, physical health as well.
Okay, so it covers a lot of different topics.
Yes.
So awesome. So, well, it's kind of a timely topic. We just held some sports physical clinics here, which is a great service that we offer to the community. And if you miss those clinics, it's still okay. You can get those sports physicals during your well child visit, right? So, which is a perfect segue into my next question. What is a well child visit and why do kids need them?
Well child visits are a very, very important part of promotion of health. At those well child visits, we can look at immunization scheduling, we can look at developmentally, we can look at how the child is mentally handling all the pressures that society gives them today. So there are all kinds of things that we do at well child health visits, including lab work too.
Okay. I think they also can help identify health problems earlier, so when they're easier to treat. Is that right?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Especially when they're under the age of 3, we can look at all kinds of things such as autism. We can do all kinds of testing. For the older child, we can also look at other disorders they may have as well.
Okay. So I mentioned earlier how back to school is a big adjustment, and one big change is getting on a new schedule, especially a new sleep schedule. I know this is hard for everyone, not just kids. So how much sleep should kids get, and does it vary by age?
It does vary by age. Preschoolers, they should get anywhere from 10 to 13 hours of sleep.
Okay.
That can include naps. Okay. Kiddos 6 to 12, they need about 10 to 13 hours. And then teenagers, they need at least 8 to 10 hours of sleep. Research has shown that plenty of sleep that will help benefit their physical, mental health, their learning capabilities when they're at school, memory, which is so important as they're learning to retain those things.
Definitely important. So as you were talking, that made me wonder, why should kids have a routine bedtime and sleep schedule? I know some kids, they ask their mom, oh, can I stay up just one more hour? Why is it important that they have that bedtime routine?
Well, having the routine, it does promote, that they're able to get healthier sleep habits, such as, falling asleep better, sleeping longer, being able to participate in those activities the next day. We do recommend, making sure that they do have decreased screen time within 2 hours of going to bed, because the screen, that actually activates our brain. So if we're on the TV, tablet, phone within that 2 hours, our brain is still active and we're like, oh, it's not time for bed yet.
Right.
So it's so important to shut those screens off within that 2 hours of bed.
Okay, I love that advice. That's probably good for adults too, I think.
Yes,
so
yes.
Alrighty. Well, I want to end the show by talking just about a few more tips for parents to consider this back to school year. First, teach your kids good hygiene habits. Make sure that they're washing their hands, and if they cough or sneeze, have them do that into a tissue or an elbow. I like to call that the dab sneeze, I guess. I don't know if that's what they still call it nowadays. Second, provide kids with healthy options for meals, including breakfast, and keep kids hydrated with water instead of sugary drinks. And finally, this was actually really interesting when I was doing some research. I didn't really think much about it, but make sure your kids are choosing the right backpack and one that fits well, because not wearing it correctly, it can really lead to back pain and some other problems. Okay. Well, Audrey and Angie, thanks again for coming on our show. We'll have to have you come back and talk more about pediatrics.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, and remember, if you liked our show and you want to know more about the topics that we cover on this series, check out phelpshealth.org. We'll see you next time on Around Phelps Health.